when I, like everybody, we come across lower energy people, higher energy people.
Let's say it differently. They're all high energy people, allowing or disallowing it in differing degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So when you run across someone that you are describing as lower energy, they're usually pretty raspy and raw and ragged and out there on the uncomfortable edge because they are high energy people not allowing it. That's why they're ornery.
I want to do more for them. I want to do more for them.
Well, the thing is, if their frequency is far from yours, they can't hear you. And you would have to step out of your vortex in order to get near them, and then you've got nothing to give them. So mind your own business and stay in your vortex.
Okay.
And
that's important.
And one of the things that happens, this is important to this discussion.
And hard to do.
This is important to the discussion about the vortex. All of you and all of them find themselves in the vortex every day at one point or another. You just do. Yep. You just cannot maintain the consciousness that holds you out of it eternally. You just can't do it. In other words, no one can focus in a resistant manner so strong because the vortex is calling you and trying to get you to come in. So
I know some people. I don't know.
But rather than arguing for their limitations, let us show you what we mean. We have not talked about this in this way, but so you understand law of attraction to some extent. And when we tell you that as you mix it up and send rockets to your vortex, that the larger part of you is becoming constantly this new version of you, and the energy of that vortex is a very powerful thing. So now focus on one of those people that you were talking about, that you were describing as low energy, because they're out of the vortex and they don't feel good and they feel victimized and life isn't going well for them. But because of what they're living, they're asking in a stronger way. So often their vortex is more focused and spinning faster and stronger than almost anybody that you would know, because they're asking in a stronger way. So this is the thing that we want you to focus, to imagine, to picture, to hold in your focus. So here's this vortex, and remember what it represents. It's the source energy version of them. Now that's powerful. Now see this powerful law of attraction that we talked about earlier, which is the law that manages all of these frequencies, and acknowledge that law of attraction is responding to this powerfully focused energy that they have been a significant part in creating. So as it stands right now, the whole of who they are with law of attraction feel the pull of that. So it's huge. So here they are, focused on. So here they are, meditating. Now it's not likely they would, but just for sake of example, meditating. Vortex takes them right in. Because in the meditation, they stop thought. In the stopping of thought, they stop resistant thought. In the absence of resistant thought, in they go. The resistant thought is the only thing that keeps them out. Now, we know you must be thinking, well, if this pull is so strong, then why could one measly little human mind be strong enough to offset it? Because you are here as creators, and when you focus in your now, it is powerful. The thought that you are thinking is a powerful thought. It is not as powerful as the pull of the vortex, and when you croak, the vortex will take you right in. So here they are, resistant. The vortex is spinning, resistant. The vortex is spinning, resistant. The vortex is spinning. They go to sleep. The vortex takes them in. They wake up, they're ornery, the vortex is spinning, they're ornery. They wake up, they're ornery. They see a kitten, the vortex takes them in. They focus back on what they're worried about. They eat a hamburger and it's good, the vortex takes them in. You see what we're getting at? In other words, the vortex is taking all of them in for a moment before they come to their senses and start complaining again. there are many, many moments that the vortex takes them in. Do you accept that?
I see
there
that.
are many moments that the vortex takes everyone in. And so there are two reasons that we are telling you this. One is knowing what you know about the vortex. When you find the vortex is taking you in, milk it. Practice the vibration of it so that it makes it easier for you to be in there more often. But regarding those that you care about, who you worry about being able to positively influence, if you realize that the vortex is taking them in and you're focused upon the version of them that's in there, the vortex will take them in and they will rendezvous with you. Now hear what that means. That means you can have a meaningful discussion with any of them.
Wow.
Esther discovered it with her parents over and over again. When she stopped worrying about what they thought of her, and she stopped worrying about what they thought at all, and she focused upon what she knows, the vortex on many occasions brought them in where they would have a wonderful moment together, you see.
I just missed a chance that I didn't know I had until you said that. Because I'm seeing this person always negative, and I just had a conversation the other day where I got off the phone and said, man, he sounded good, but I wanted to get off the phone anticipating his negativeness.
So he was in the vortex, but you didn't stay.
Correct. Wow.
Well, isn't it nice to know? So what have we accomplished here? We've discovered that it's not your job. It's not your job to step outside the vortex to try to bring anyone else in. That truly is what motivation is. You're out there, they're out there, and you're trying to kick each other in. Kick them in. That's motivation. Inspiration is staying in there. But the thing that we really want you to hear is there's enough inspiration going on in this vortex that you don't need to muster anything. The vortex is inspiration. The vortex is reaching for them all the time, you see. So the best that any of us can do is be in the vortex and be ready for the rendezvous when they come. That's the power of effective teaching. Just be ready for them, which means, and here's another thing. So as you are noticing someone struggling and you're feeling empathy for their struggle, you're not in the vortex and you're not becoming a match to the vortex version that they've already put there. But if you are knowing what they don't want and imagining what they do want and willing to spend a little time positively anticipating on behalf of someone else, now you're all queued up and you act like, the analogy isn't perfect, but it sort of gets the point across. So they've got a vortex that is calling for them all the time, 24/7. The vortex is calling them all the time. But they are so rigid in their resistant thoughts that they're not going very often. And when they do, they don't know what it means. Mm-hmm. They think it's a fluke. They think maybe they're lucky. Right. They explain it in a lot of ways. They don't know what it means. Here you come along, you know what it means. You go to the vortex on purpose. You think about them on purpose. So now you establish a relationship with them that would be likened to a satellite dish beaming the signal down closer where they can feel it. In other words, when you focus on the well-being of another, even though their vortex has been calling them and they haven't been able to hear it, something about you being in the vortex, focused upon them, makes it more probable that they will hear it. But what goes wrong with so many of you, then you get invested in whether they hear or not, and then the vortex spits you out. And then you resent them for being low energy. See how it goes. So instead, you pay no attention to where they're at. You just fall in love with your vortex version of them and do your best to maintain it. And isn't that what unconditional love is? Mm-hmm. In other words, maintaining in the vortex version of them, regardless of what's going on out there in their conditions. Right. It's powerful to watch what happens. And that's why when you say, the people around me. You're naming all of the people who are thriving around you. Well, it just a cycle just begins. The more you thrive, the more those around you thrive. The more you celebrate your thriving, the more you thrive. The more people join your thriving. It's a wonderful experience.
It is wonderful.
But you can't. It's a little bit of a slippery slope, because on the one hand, if you start celebrating a great deal the thriving of others, then you might catch yourself worrying when they're not thriving. And you really can't control it. Wow. So you have to be sort of detached from it, expecting the best for them, but not so invested that if something gets a little shaky, that it upsets your vibrational apple cart. That's what our friend was sort of talking about earlier. Mm-hmm. In other words, am I really an SOB? Am I really an uncaring person because I'm maintaining my detachment? And we say no. We think you're maintaining your in the vortex version and not wanting to risk it a little bit. And so that's what you're talking about with that. Right. You wanted to hang up before the conversation went sour.
Exactly.
Because so far so good. And in time you'll be so stable. You'll be so stable in your vortex that you'll realize that nothing that anybody else is doing is threatening your vortex. And that's when you're really free. That's when you're really free.
Beautiful. I have something different than that. My mother, she's 87 years old, a powerful, powerful woman.
You know her age is irrelevant, don't you?
I do.
Then never tell it again.
Okay. She'll like that.
Everyone would be better off if you were, because when you speak an age, mm-hmm. you evoke expectation of what that means. And in this culture, it's just something that you then have to overcome. So it's like you focus on someone, you're in the vortex. You see them, you're in the vortex. You focus on their age and you go right out of the vortex. Because that age means something different than you want it to mean. You have to really work yourself into a place that you really feel ageless, you see, and allow others to be also.
And the next thing I was going to say is people from, born in the 20s and 30s, I think most of them have this incredible fear of death, the death experience. And she did also. And some of the best... For me, what all of this information has done, even if it's just a little bit, has lowered her fear. Even if she doesn't know it, I can tell.
Well stated. That's just what we were talking about. You're the satellite dish that's beaming it in for her.
Wow. So my question for this is, what's lowered her fear a little bit is her believing, even if it's just a little bit, that we will be able to be together and communicate when she does pass.
Yes.
And
what you want to say to her is, Mom, I know that with everything that I am, but I have to do some work, because when you make your transition into non-physical, you're going to leave everything that you've ever worried about behind. And the only way for me to communicate with you is I have to be in that high-flying vibration that you're going to be in. So I'm practicing now.
Right.
Otherwise, and you could have fun with her. You could have fun with her. If we both practice now, whichever one of us goes first, and say that to her. Say that to her, because no one likes a conversation that says, I'm getting ready for your death.
Right.
So if we practice while we're both still physically focused in these bodies, then when one or the other of us goes, we'll recognize each other and we'll be able to carry on the conversation. Mm-hmm. You could say, because if you remember me as being really ornery, and now I'm dead and you're looking for that ornery person, you're not going to find him. And you'll think I'm not there. That's interesting, isn't it?
That's great.
We think you should all practice talking with dead people. We're really rather charming.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaste.